Okay, and our question now is about arts, culture, and media. Black cultural festivals like Caribana and Black cultural arts programs are historically underfunded despite the income generated for the province each year from these programs. Caribana, for example, generates approximately $400 million annually, and that money rarely benefits Black communities, who instead face a threat year after year of not being able to continue the programming. What costed investments exist in your party's platform to provide sustainable support for Black-focused arts organizations, recognizing their role in growing Ontario's economy?
Yeah, well, first of all, I just want to say I had the pleasure of participating in Caribana in Kitchener this year, which I believe was the first year, right?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Like Carnival in Toronto is fantastic, but it was great to have it in Kitchener. And I keep telling folks in Guelph, we should do it in Guelph too. But our platform has a funding commitment for kind of a communities fund of over $300 million that would fund things like arts organizations, community-based food programs, libraries, community hubs, festivals, things like that just bring vibrancy to communities. Historically, on our 2022 platform, we had detailed out ways that we would target some of that to Black cultural organizations. Because of the snap election, we didn't get to that level of detail, but I would certainly, in a green government, would certainly ensure that portions of that funding would be directed to Black arts and cultural organizations, because we want to celebrate all cultural communities in Ontario, because I think the diversity of Ontario and supporting arts and culture in our communities is one of the things that makes this a great place to live.
Thank you for this. I mean, I first of all, I want to give a big shout out to Dr. Jill Andrew, MPP for Toronto St. Paul's, who I have to say has done just extraordinary work leading the charge on calling for not just investment in Toronto's Caribbean Carnival. I agree with you. I always still call it Caribana. So, but anyways, but specifically sustainable multi-year funding. And that is a commitment of ours. That is something we are going to make. An NDP government is going to make sure that the Toronto Caribbean Carnival gets that sustainable multi-year funding. We have met with them many times, and we know that this is, North America's largest cultural festival. It is a huge driver for Ontario's tourism industry, and it is not given the recognition and the support, frankly, from government that it deserves. And I do think that the specifically provincial government's lack of support for Caribana has been really quite shameful. So we have to rectify that. And then I want to say, I think that there's also many other exciting festivals that are popping up all across the province that deserve similar support, right? So we have to work with community creators, artists, to make sure that we are promoting arts and culture, live performance, festivals, book publishing, film and television, digital media, and again, coming at this from that whole of government approach, where we ensure that the anti-racism work is the lens that we see these programs through, is really, really important. And unfortunately, we've seen over the last number of years, enormous instability in those programs and cuts from the government. And I think it's a huge missed opportunity, both to celebrate Black culture and community, and the diversity of our province, but also to, leverage those opportunities to build our economies and support local artists and entrepreneurs. So I'm really excited by some of the things that we have specifically in the platform around this, but particularly the work that Jill has done, and that we're committed to continuing with the Toronto Caribbean Carnival.